What is your favorite interaction when it comes to like a coworker that you've had that makes you excited about like working here at Big Night, right? Outside of just like celebrity stuff,
Hmm.
there's culture behind it that I find
Absolutely.
plays a huge role.
Sure.
And I've talked to anyone. So, what type of culture things do you think you specifically liked that have really motivated you to want to stay at the top of your game for so long?
Well, I always like in coming into this, and everybody thinks it's easy, and the young guys come in, and anybody can throw one party. Anybody can throw one party. It's the consistency, it's the longevity, it's the name of the game. I love to see the young guys come in and keep being consistent, looking towards the future, looking towards doing something different. We have a party, 9 a.m. bangers, a 9 a.m. party. I never ever, I used to go to bed at 9 in the morning. Now people are, throwing parties and eye-opening things, styles of music, changing things like that. I'm not stuck in my ways, so I like to be, I like the ideas, the freshness of people coming in in thinking outside the box. I think that's, what doesn't make things stale. I think that's what gives, Boston nightlife, Everybody can throw a party. Everybody can play the same 40 songs, Now is it different because it's 9 a.m. and everybody's enjoying it? Now is it, silent party that people used to do, back in the day. The thinking outside the box and, doing day parties and just straight R&B parties, changing what used to just be a 10 to 2 kind of night into something thinking outside the box. I love when people come up with new ideas. Yeah, and the
Right, right.
freshness of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's important, right? That's how you stay with the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the age bracket that comes out to what you do,
Sure.
right?
And also them teaching me like the new kind of music that's out there, I hear the certain music and some of the artists that I think are relevant aren't relevant. And in them showing me, an artist and watching that artist grow and becoming relevant and, becoming, the popular artist that they are. It's pretty cool to watch.
Right, right. Now, let me ask you about that. Where do you think you developed that mindset? Was it what did you have an experience that made you think like I'm always going to accept incoming input or like what how did you get to
I
that?
don't always accept it. I put my foot down on some, and I like to be proven wrong.
Okay.
But I just don't hold, a wall up and say no, 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 no. I am open to ideas. I do, you know, put my years of experience into it and seeing where they're coming from. Now, will this fresh idea work off the bat? Maybe not. But I do like to try different things. And I put my experience, know whether, in my basic intuition, knowing if it will work or not. And if it's seems like it can go in the right direction, I like to try it. I think that's where people fade out is where you keep doing the same exact thing without evolving, without listening, without changing. Now, if you have something that's very successful, I think that's great, and you continue on that till it slows down. But if you just go in a one direction, at some point it's gonna fade out, and I think that's where people don't evolve and change and go in a different direction or listen. Once you're stuck in your ways, you can be stuck down that road, that road can be successful for a long time, but at some point it's going to fade out.
Right. You work it and use it as long as it's working, but
Correct.
eventually you're
Correct.
going to have to get creative somewhere. Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Was there a moment where an idea didn't work that you really believed that taught you a lesson in terms of what to look for when it came to what was going to be successful and what
Of
wasn't?
course, I think early on, I think you think that these parties are going to be successful, or everybody that says yes that they're going to come, they're not
Sure,
going to
yeah,
show.
yeah.
I think there are a lot of times. Well, 20 people, 40 people, 80 people told me yes. I'm good for 80 people. you take that number and you divide it by a third, in especially, on a guest list kind of thing. You have 300 on the guest list, 100 of those will show, which is great, but yeah, I usually divide it by a third.
Right. So the math is whatever number we got down.
Divided by a third.